Hey everyone, welcome to Quality with Mubari. This is Mubari here speaking, and today we're gonna cover the first part in our course, which is the Excel overview. We're gonna go through the layout here for the tabs, the ribbons, how you can find the buttons, the commands that you're gonna use throughout the course, and then we're gonna know how we can navigate and add and remove columns and rows so that it can help us navigate through the whole thing, right? Through the whole data set. Alright, so let's start here. So the first thing that you're gonna see here once you open up Excel is that you're gonna see this sheet here, and it's the first cell is called A1. So for the columns it's labeled by letters, right? So I got A, B, C up until X, F, D, which is a lot. Don't think you're ever gonna use that. However, on the other hand, for the rows, it's labeled by numbers. So you can see here the name for the first cell is A1, then A2, A3, A4. If you click on the right arrow, it goes to B4, right? So by the way, there are two ways that you can navigate through your cell. It's either by clicking on it with your mouse, alright? So that's one method, or you can simply use your arrow buttons on your keyboard to navigate through the cells. Alright, so that's regarding how you can navigate through your worksheet. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then up here you can see the ribbon. It has pretty much all the actions and the buttons that we're gonna use throughout the course. And then here we got the tabs. So for the home tab, this one you can change the font, you can change the alignment for the values that you have on your cells. You can change the format, whether you want it to show as a date, show it as a number, a currency, time, percentage, whatever you want to your data to be shown on your worksheet. You can simply select it from here, and then we got the conditional formatting. We're gonna go over that in this course, and then we got format as table in case you want to change the the format of the table that you have. Alright, and then for the cell styles, this is where you can change the style. Of course, we're gonna go over each one of those in the later videos, but this one here we're going throughout the tabs and the ribbons just to have a quick overview for the whole thing. Alright, and then for the second tab here, which is the insert tab, this one is pretty handy because you can create a pivot table, you can create a normal table, and then you can put in pictures from your device, or you can search online, and then you can put in shapes. In case you want to add a new shape, you can add this rectangle here. Alright, that's something. And then also we have charts. In case you want to add charts, you can totally do that from here. And then later on, when we cover the pivot tables, you can add a slicer, and equations and symbols, you can get that from the insert tab. The third one here is the page layout. So in case you want to print something, you can totally go through this part here and select the print area where you're going to print. Let's say you have a worksheet and you have lots and lots of tables, but you don't want to print the whole thing, you only want to print a specific part. So this is where you can control the whole thing, right? And for the grid lines, you see those columns and rows, those lines that are all over the sheet. You can simply click on the grid lines and then click on here, and there you go. Some people like this view in case you're doing calculations and you want to get just the numbers without having any tables or anything. You can do that. Then let's turn it back on. And then for the formulas, this one is pretty handy in case you want to go through each and every formula that we can do here in Excel, and you can play around with each one of them. All right, so that's one of the cool things that Excel has here for the formulas. And then for the data, the queries, and this part is pretty advanced, so let's just focus on this part here where you can either remove duplicates in case you have duplicate data on the data set or the row data that you have. And we have text to columns, we're gonna use that in this course, and data validation, we're gonna use that as well. All right, and then for the review here, this tab, you can protect your sheet or the whole workbook, and that's in case you're sharing the workbook with other users and you don't want them to mess with specific calculations that you're doing. So that's something that can be pretty handy while sharing the workbook with others. All right, then for the view here, You can control how you want to view your page. So this is where you can control the view for the workbook. All right, whether you want grid lines, whether you want headings, the formula bar. You can remove this one in case you're not using formulas, for instance. All right, so for this one, you can either freeze the top row or freeze the first column so that you can navigate your data without losing, let's say, the title on the top row or the first column, in case you have some data here that you want those you want this data to go to be visible throughout the whole worksheet. All right, throughout checking the whole data set that you have. Okay, so that's regarding the tabs and the ribbons that we have up there. All right, let's move forward and cover the columns, the rows, and how you can work your way through them. All right, so let me quickly create a worksheet here. So I'm using the mouse here to select the data, and simply all I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put the cursor here and then drag it just one cell below. All right, and then what Excel is gonna do is that it's gonna drag the whole data set down one cell. All right, and then um, let's create a random data set. All right, so let me label this column. Let's call it number of defects, and for this column let's set it to be employee name. All right, okay. And by the way, if you can see here that the text is going beyond the cell, right? So cell B2 B1 here is too small for the whole name, so we got employee name, it's going beyond that. So all you gotta do is just go through the cursor here and double click on this. It will resize the whole cell so that it can fit the employee name or whatever data that you have. All right, maybe you don't have just employee name. Maybe you have a long string of text, so instead of employee name, let's add more text and employee number, for instance. So this is a whole sentence in this small cell. So let's do the same thing again and double click that. See how Excel is adjusting the cell to fit what's included in the cell itself. All right, so that's the first thing. So let me remove that, and you can see that it's still not resizing to the actual size. You can simply click on this line here between the letter B and the letter C, and there you go, it resized the whole thing for us. All right, so that's the first thing. Okay, so for this one we need a bunch of names, so let me create here. So what we did here is that we created a data set with the employee name and the number of defects that they had. Alright, so first things first, what we're gonna do is that we need, let's say you need to add the employee number or a specific identifier for this specific employee, right? So what we can do is that we can simply do that right here, right? Employee number, and there you go. This is where you put in your number, right? But what if you want to add the number between the number of defects and the employee name, right? So let me delete this one here. Click on delete, and then to add a new column, all you gotta do is just go hover the cursor over the B column on the letter B, and then click on it to select the whole column. Click on Ctrl+, and there you go. It created a new column in between the columns that we already have, right? So this way I can simply click on employee on this cell and go and type in employee number, type in whatever I'd like to add. Okay, so this is how you can add a column. Alright, same goes for adding a new row. So you can simply just click on the number that you want to add. Make sure that you're clicking on the number, right? So if you click on this cell here, it will only select the cell. Alright, I want you to click on the number and make sure that it's selecting the whole thing. Click on Ctrl+, and there you go. We added a new row so that we can add our data here. So let's say that we have 11 defects. The employee number, since we're talking about banner, let's set it to be 14. Banner again, right? There you go. Alright, so let's say you want to remove a column or remove a row, right? So pretty much it's the same procedure, but we're gonna remove some things, right? Or do some things differently, alright? So let's say we want to remove this row here, right? Alright, so let's say you want to remove this row here, so simply click on Control minus, and there you go. And then click again, click again, click again, click again. Alright, so this is how you can remove the rows. Same goes for the columns. Let's say you want to remove the employee number here. Click on the column, Control minus, there you go. You just removed the column. Alright, so that's for this video here. We checked how we can navigate through Excel, how we can remove columns, add columns, and same goes for the rows, how you can remove and add rows. And yeah, that's pretty much the overview, and see you in the next video.